What is up, everyone? Welcome to number 15, our 15th hangout here at Hobby Hangout. Hope everyone had an awesome Thanksgiving. Uh, Hopefully, you've recovered from your turkey and other, I guess, sugar induced comas and uh, are here and ready to talk and see lots of card storage and organizational stuff. Um, the whole gang's here this time, and I figure I don't know. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks for me, but 2 weeks since we've kind of been hanging out. So what's new with everyone? What do you guys? How was everyone's Thanksgiving? What have you guys been up to, hobby wise or otherwise? But where are you guys at?
Oh, good man. So I was in Arizona for Thanksgiving. Got to see the wall as my family lives in southern Arizona. I think I sent a picture in one of our group chats, Steve. That was interesting since it's like a hot topic nowadays.
Really, southern Arizona, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. How about you?
I had family fly in, so my mom is always the Thanksgiving host. So my brother and sister live out of state. Actually, I think I've mentioned before, my sister and her family live in Denver. So they flew in as well as my brother and his girlfriend. It was tiring. I mean, we had like several late evenings playing board games. I think the latest we went was 3 a.m. playing board games one night. And we took the all so me and my siblings and the 9 grandchildren, my mom's 9 grandchildren, to Disneyland. So it was a tiring few days, but I mean, I guess that's good. I mean, that means lots of gatherings, lots of events, lots of family stuff. So I feel like it took me till Wednesday to recover, till yesterday to recover, but I feel like the fog has lifted.
Nice.
Not much new with me. I just went over to my brother's for Thanksgiving, had some food and watched some football. Nothing too out of the ordinary or special.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it was good. We have same family traditions, but Joey, that sounds like it was quite an ordeal, and I'm sure it was great, and family time was great, but that might have been a bit outside my comfort zone for a weekend like that. That's a lot of stimulation there, good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, my wife is a champ because it's kind of like the one time all year that all of me and my siblings are at, my mom's place and stuff, or like hanging out, and we're all in the same region. So it's pretty much 5 or 6 days straight from morning till night of, I mean, we went to like a petting zoo one day, we went to the beach one day. It's just lots of children. My brother, my younger brother, who's the only one without kids, he couldn't even handle it for the 3 days he was there. He got overwhelmed by the 9 children, 6 years old and under, that were terrorizing us.
Don't blame him. I've got kids, and I might have been overwhelmed by all of that. So,
Yeah.
what about pickups? Anybody pick up anything over the last couple of weeks worth showing off or chatting about?
Yeah, I got a couple. Got them pulled out. Steve, you've already seen these, but
While Ryan gets some cards out, let's just all recognize that Danilo Gallinari officially retired from professional
yeah,
basketball. So give Ryan a little shout out there, his favorite player. Retired from the NBA. What, last year, I think, Ryan, after the ACL, and then went over and finished up his is it Italian career? Is that where he finished up? Was he?
he played in Puerto Rico, I believe, and won a championship. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty cool way to end it.
Give him a little shout out. And sorry for interrupting. Let's see what you got.
No, you're good because I probably would have forgot, to be honest. I'm dealing with, as I told you guys backstage, dealing with a little bit of a migraine headache, which I tend to get a monthly. So if I'm scatterbrained tonight, that's why. But yeah, this is a first pickup here. This is a 2014-15 Gary Harris Spectra RPA, one of the vertical versions. And then that's the green emerald out of 5. A little nice patch in there.
That's when they were still on card, right? It's an
That is on card.
Yeah, that's nice.
They had a couple of those. I think maybe the horizontal versions did have the sticker autos, which I have a couple of those as well. Yeah, the verticals being on card is pretty awesome. And then another one, Steve, you've seen this one as well. This is a fireworks photogenics of Jokic from an All-Star game. I don't remember. That might have been, this is a 23-24. So it might have been could have been the All-Star season or the championship season that he was on the All-Star team playing. So I'm not sure exactly where the photo's from, but It's the fireworks parallel out of 5.
What's that? What are the? I like the
Okay.
fireworks a lot. What's that numbered out of?
They're out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah, so it's kind of a fun chase, and they usually have pretty decent photography. That's why I like that. So
Yeah. How do you like it on top of that action shot?
yeah, that's actually why I picked that one up, just because it's photogenic, so it should have something cool. And a lot of Jokic cards are him just like dribbling, which he kind of plays point center, right? So he's doing a lot of dribbling, maybe coming off a rebound on a lot of them. But if you can get one with more like that action shot type, it looks like he's putting in a shot.
Yeah, like a little push shot or maybe even a dunk. But for people that haven't seen the fireworks, I think they used him in that really garbage status release of third year status, and they've carried it over here and there. It's got sort of a galactic feel to it, but instead of doing sort of the diamond shape behind it, it sort of kind of pops out like a firework. So it's a bunch of tiny little sort of firework designs.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that gives a little bit of motion to a high quality photography card, I think looks pretty good.
And it's not super overused.
Yeah.
Because some parallels, they've just been used to death and they call them different things, and then they're low numbered, and you're like, but I could get it in this product in the non-numbered variation. So I kind of like the ones that they stuck to using them more sparingly, I guess.
Yeah, a little oddball style design for sure.
Yeah.
Since we're on the topic of them, I just have another use of that. I think it's the same effect. It's from Donruss Elite. I think it's 20. Gosh, I should remember. Yeah, it's 22-23. It's the same effect. It's not on the action shot, but it's the Keegan Murray rookie from Donruss Elite.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, so I really like this card. It's one of my favorite Keegan cards. But yeah, it's a really nice effect, like you guys said. Lots of motion and stuff in there.
That does show the design pretty well there. Yeah, it's kind of more circular, but yeah, you can see why they call it fireworks.
Yeah,
cool.
Just welcoming officially Caleb and Sean from the chat. So welcome, guys. Looks like Caleb is going to have a card to share soon because his first Jokic card is coming. So yeah, that's from Topps. Yeah, I think that's the one that you had shown, Ryan. I think you had shown the Jokic Topps one, or maybe just mentioned it before. But that's cool. And I have a pickup too. It's a weird pickup, very weird for me. It's not a card, and it's not a Kings related piece of memorabilia. But I was at a charity event recently, and they had various sports memorabilia and things like that for auction, as well as like signed musical albums and things like that. And there was a silent auction there, and I ended up winning. See if I can get this. I might be too close for this. I ended up winning a signed Steph Curry jersey. From
cool.
Yeah, from that auction.
Very cool.
Not that I'm necessarily a Curry fan or anything, but it was like a cause I was planning to donate to anyway. And I was like, I do appreciate Curry for his legacy and his importance to the development of the game and the history of the game and stuff like that. So I figured it would be a cool pickup. So it's a framed Steph Curry jersey, one of those Golden State jerseys. I think it's authenticated by Beckett. I would have preferred the Kobe signed ball they had, much to, I'm sure, Steve and Adam's dismay. But I would have preferred that, but I didn't love the autograph on it, and the bid was like $12,000 with several hours left. So I said, you know what, that's probably not for me.
Kobe's one of the most overrated players in NBA history, and Steph Curry is one of the most underrated. So I think you made the right decision.
Yeah, I don't regret it for sure. Yeah, I actually agree. I don't know if I agree that Steph's one of the most underrated, but I do agree with Kobe's status being pretty overrated.
And maybe we could say this for another episode, but I want to put the cat. He's an all-time great, and I still think overrated at the same time. I think both can be true, but I think Steph is just. I think when we look back 20 years from now, we're going to realize how much he changed the game, what he really did accomplish in an era of how many great point guards have come and just worn their bodies down and not be able to get over the hump of a championship or MVP, and he's been doing it for longer than any of them. I mean, all the Dames and the Kemba Walkers and the Kyries, et cetera, and Curry's been the one to kind of lead this entire generation of backcourt players. So I think when we look back on Curry, we're going to really, really appreciate him. So good pickup.
Yeah. And still light it up on the court. I mean,
he's so efficient.
yeah.
He drives me nuts because he's the perfect type of overconfident, but he should be that confident. But man, he knows how to rub it in a fan base's face. Like he can just rub
Oh yeah.
the opponent's fans the wrong way. It's such a like endearing and just cringy way at the same time. So he can get your blood boiling a little bit.
Like, I know he's a good guy. It seems like he's a great guy based on everything off the court and like family life or whatever. Man, I just cannot get over that kind of like well-earned smug confidence he has, and very much rubs in the opposing team and the opposing fan base's face all the time.
What about you, Adam? I've got a pickup I'm going to share, but I think it's going to sort of jump into a little bit of in a kind of a funny way how we store our cards. I'll let you kind of jump into the thing you want to share.
Yeah, to piggyback on the Curry convo, I agree. He's definitely underappreciated today. Very revolutionary. Cool pickup. I personally don't like his change to the game, so I have a little bit of disdain towards him for that reason. But I do think in time will be telling as to whether somebody can put together the kind of consistency that he's had over duration to kind of be competitive with his 3-point totals. So if they can't, then obviously that just propels him even further. But I do think as you see more and more people shoot the three efficiently like he has, starts to make him seem the first but not the last kind of effect on it. But I did have one pickup also I pulled out. I've had the Bird version of this for quite a while, and it's the gold to 10. Doesn't pick up very well in the light here. But the standard versions of these are kind of a gold background of the signing area, and then like a silver area around the card. And these are kind of flipped, where it's kind of like a holographic silver and a gold around the card. I didn't think ahead of time, but I may have a standard version I could pull out of a different player.
For people listening on the audio only version, Adam's showing off a jumbo on card Bill Russell auto. And that's actually some great ink on that one too. Very clean and
yeah, it is. I can't find quickly just the standard version, but like I said, it's basically flipped, just like a silver framing around the card and a gold autograph section rather than the silver with gold.
What year is that, Adam?
This is
04 or 05?
It's somewhere in that area. Shows 05 on the back, so yeah, probably 04, 05.
Yeah, because I did at one point have a LeBron auto from that same set, because it had that same like kind of cutout for the auto. And of course, probably sold it for $100.
Yeah, exactly. Adam knows I'm picky about my Bill Russell autos, and I love when they're a full auto in line like that, because some of them, depending on the cards that he was given, he stacks the Bill on top of the Russell, and I think like a true actual signature like you would put on a document should demand a significant premium over like something that was just designed to fit on a card. So I think that's a great pickup, Adam. As you know, I know. All right, my one pickup, and the reason I'm going to share this one is actually because I want to talk about how it arrived, but just out of interest, so I'm actually going to share a WNBA card that I picked up. So Alyssa Thomas is one of the true greats of this generation of WNBA players, and her 2014 rookie is out of 500, because back then the only way to get WNBA cards was there was one company, Rittenhouse, that created factory sets, and they'd print 500 of them a year, and they would just sell the complete set. In each set were 4 autos and then the 100 base cards. So been after one of these for a while. They're obviously like, you've got a lot of set collectors that were collecting back then that don't break them up, so it's tough to find one of those copies. But this card came, Ryan, we've got an issue, and Adam knows what I'm about to talk about. So the newest iteration of the PSA slab is like bendy plastic. It wouldn't crack.
Oh.
It's like, and there was using I bust almost all of my cards out of PSA slabs. Nothing against PSA. I just would rather my cards be in binders, and we can talk about that. And I just think these take up too much space. Cards I'm not going to sell. But man, Brian, and Adam had given me a heads up that there's something with the new slabs. And the dang thing was like giving me, like taunting me the entire time. It was like squeaking like plastic bottles do against each other. It took me probably 15 minutes to pry this out, and it's the closest I've ever come to damaging a card. And as you can see, the slab is still 100% intact. So it's not like I broke it and it shattered across the card like some people have done. It just was so tight, and you couldn't pry it apart, because as you pried, instead of the seams opening, the stupid plastic just kept bending. So you couldn't get leverage to bust it open. I was letting now. My wife's very happy because there's no shrapnel all over the kitchen.
Yeah, right.
But we're gonna have to work on how to bust these new things open because they are. MB. I'm not. I'm gonna butcher that name, but MB's in the chat now saying you had to pry all the way around the edges. Yeah, that's what I had to do. I popped the corners actually using like a bottle opener, and that worked great. And then I had to just very slowly go and pop all the way around, but there was no leveraging it to then finally get it to open like a clamshell. I had to work the entire sides. But now I've got a PSA slab that's in perfect condition if anyone needs it.
So I think that's a good use case for the locking pliers, right? Because that's kind of the method that I've been on.
Yeah.
Because I work around kind of like you crimp the edge, right where it seals, right?
Yeah.
And then just kind of go around the card. So I'll have to try it if I get one in.
Yeah, I mean, I had the chance of me getting another one in, but I did. I had to work all the way down, and I eventually stopped with like 20% of the sides to go and just like let the card slide out. But it was very, very annoying.
I bet.
Good for PSA.
Do some research and put up some tutorials since you're the cracking professors on how to deal with these new slabs.
I got a couple actually. I've done over the years, a couple on my YouTube. So
do you? Okay,
but probably needs to be updated. Yeah, and Kyle from Wax Museum podcast mentions I got to do one live at one point.
Yeah,
which that would be interesting.
We should definitely link those videos somewhere too.
Yeah, just mindcycle_cards. Anybody interested? I got one or two. Probably the newer one is the better method in my opinion because I'm always trying to perfect it. So that's like the locking players.
You've got some up on your Instagram too that are a little bit shorter that I'll share with people when they ask and they're looking for a little tutorial. So if you go to Ryan's page and like go to the video link at the top because it'll filter out all the pictures, you can get a couple sort of like shorts that'll help you out as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did one that was kind of edited down. Yep.
Before we jump in, just a reminder to everyone, if you want to join in and hang out, and obviously we're kind of transitioning here from pickups and what we've been up to storage and organization. So we got the QR code up there with the stupid duck in the middle, that StreamYard duck, but scan that QR code if you want to jump on the video, or I'm going to put that link in the YouTube chat. So if you have any thoughts, tips, ideas, comments, feedback, or anything you want to share, you got that link, you got that QR code, jump on. Obviously, feel free to throw in thoughts in the chat, but we'd love to hang out, have you on kind of in person as well. So yeah, I am definitely not a maestro in terms of this stuff. So I think you guys probably would be better to start us off in terms of how you organize your cards, store your cards, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just start just because I was just mentioning binders. So I think what'll be interesting is people can't, like, if you were to just on the surface talk to Adam and I at the same time, you would think that there's a lot of overlap between how we store our cards and in like on the simplest forms there are. But I am probably unhealthily tied into making sure all my stuff's stored the exact same way and in a very consistent manner. I don't care necessarily about how they're organized, but the storage. So I go out of my way to keep cards in binders. So I use, and all the binders have to be the same. So I use almost all of my cards, anything 75 point or smaller or thinner rather, for as far as cardstock, is stored in these binders. So they're called BCW Z folios. I use the extra large version, so every binder holds 480 cards. They have like a black backing to them, so you can't read the back of the cards, but they do allow you to store a card in a penny sleeve. So they're and it's still, I wouldn't say it's a rigid backing, but there's a little bit of protection to the back of the pages. So anything, like I said, 75 point or smaller. So all of my Jay Crowder cards, my like sets, my Paul Pierce stuff, even my Prism Golds, like I've never been worried about the value of the cards in there. I have pulled cards out to sell, and back when you could grade for a reasonable fee, I graded cards and got plenty of PSA 10s back. So, the cards are well protected. They don't crimp, they don't crease, they don't get beat up at all. And I just like to kind of minimize the amount of space that is taken up. So I have gotten rid of like top loaders and mags for those cards, and I just file them all in. I don't know, probably have, I was actually my son was helping with my binders earlier, so I should have counted them. But like I said, everyone holds 480 cards, and I probably have 8 of them, maybe even 9 of them. So, I mean, a lot of cards and just on one bookshelf. And that's kind of my preferred way of just storing. It's just minimalistic, but it has to be consistent. I can't go and buy one of the budget versions of those binders or once it's closed differently. They've got to all be the exact same style of binder. So I'll kick it off with that part of it.
So I don't know if you collect any base, but so even base cards go in there too?
No, I do. I mean, like everyone else, if you were to go into the closet where the cards are, you'd find some like old binders back, that have like 92 Stadium Club sets in them and stuff. And but the only set, and I used to do a lot of set collecting, but like I do have, I've got the full complete base set of 2017-18 and 2018-19 status, and yep, those are in one of the Z folios together. I have like a status specific binder, so when the stuff works together in a theme. Or I put together the entire 2012-13 Crusade Blue set, which was like a subset within Crusade. It's a 300 card quote unquote base set. Yeah, that's in one of the binders that I have for like some shiny cards. So the very few base sets that I have are in those. Like I have a WNBA Prism set that I'm fully transitioning over to the Silver Parallels. That's in one of those. So yes, but not like I don't go and like if I were to bust a box, I wouldn't just file away all those base cards unless I'm going after the set in a binder. I would just keep them. I actually keep a couple of like the empty boxes from when I used to rip cards and just keep the base cards in those.
Now, did you say you do 75 point and under? That was the threshold?
Yep.
Now, are there times that you'll purchase items intentionally knowing that they're 75 points or less so they go in the binder and not items that are 100 point? Or do you buy whatever you want?
A little bit of both, Adam. But like when I was doing my, so I did like an auto set of got autos for every player or team member that I could of the 08 championship team, and I specifically highlighted cards that would fit in that binder. So instead of going after like a flawless auto, I might go after something like one of the preferred die cuts or prestige auto or something that could go in the binder as opposed to be 130 point cards. So there are times where I will prioritize that.
Now, do you prioritize like vertical versus horizontal for that purpose, or doesn't matter that way?
Yeah, so like I took out, I didn't sell it because I like it too much, but I had a horizontal KG auto that was on card, an SP Vital Signs. I took that out and put it in a different part of a binder, and then like in that page, I went and got a second. I got a Revolution vertical auto to go with that set just for the consistency. So yeah, there's definitely a lot with like the aesthetics and the consistency that I try to go for and keep things flowing in the same direction.
That's interesting because I've always seen certain times where people will like have a disdain for certain sets, like flawless autos, for example. They like the patches being 130 point or 180 point, whatever it may be, because it makes sense to encompass the patch. But when there's not a need for the card to be that thick, some people get deterred by it. I guess it makes sense if you're trying to go with uniformity within a binder. The thickness of a flawless card kind of throws that off, or eminence, or something that's overly thick that doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, and I would fall in that category. Not that and I do have a couple flawless autos. I've got like a Ray Allen and stuff, and they look great. But I do try to keep. I've got 2 kids. I also have way too many hobbies between mountain biking and Legos, and my kids collect stuff. So I try not to like just let stuff spill out as far as the space. So I have like a 2 or 3 bookshelf, like section of a bookshelf that is for my cards. So I also think of it in terms of the real estate. So if I got a couple of flawless autos, then those are going to go, because everything has to be consistent. Every flawless auto is going to go in a mag that's going to then get bagged. So it's going to take up the thickness of a 130 point mag. That's then going to take up a lot of real estate in one of the 3-row boxes I have. Whereas if I could get that same player with an auto that I like just as much, but I can fit in a binder, the binder's already there. So that card's not going to take up any extra real estate. So I do try to keep, I try not to have, I just talked about having like 5,000 cards and binders, but I try not to have a massive collection that like can overwhelm, the storage area that I have available to me. So from that regard, I think the eminence and the flawless stuff is a bit of a deterrent, because it would just take up more space than, I deem necessary sometimes.
And do you sometimes feel like you're not picking those up despite how you feel about them? Like, if you feel like they're a good addition to your collection or you love the design or something like that, does that, I'm sure sometimes it takes precedence over the storage potentially the storage issues that come up, but do you find that you tend to prioritize the storage over the design?
Yeah, like if I see a player that I want an auto of, I'm going to see first if there is a card that either already fits in a set that I collect. So, like, when I wanted a Kevin Durant auto, I found one from my buddy Mike Bev at the National that was a status on card auto. Okay, well, I collect status. I have a status binder. It was a Warriors one, so I traded for that, right? Like, it already fit into the reason I have a PC. If I saw a player, like, just, I don't know, let's pretend I didn't have a Kevin Garnett auto and I saw a really nice flawless one, I would then say, okay, you know what? I now want on my to-do list is to get a Kevin Garnett auto. But let me see what else is out there now that I've decided I want one, and see if there's one from a set I already collect or one that'll fit in like a binder project I'm already doing before I jump on this 180.1 that, or can I get a patch that maybe I'd like better than an auto? So it definitely, the way I store cards and the what I've already been collecting and trying to find some consistency definitely plays into how I prioritize cards.
Very cool. And I mean, I don't know if I think you mentioned those like traditional binders. Do you use any binders like these or whatever, like those standard binders because for me, if it's, I don't know that it's a value thing. I don't think it's a value thing. It's just kind of like what fits. I put my, I guess, rarer or more expensive cards in those Z folios like you were showing, but then sets, team sets, just larger player PCs that are just kind of a lot of base and inserts and whatever will always go in those binders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all use those a little bit, right? Like, I've got two, just because two, I think they're like 3-inch D, they might even be 4-inch D-ring binders. One's light green, one's dark green, that like me and my kids just organize Celtics cards in. So they're just like any Celtics card I get, like if they're used as packaging materials or friends send them to me or I open a pack and there's base cards. I put together, I've stopped doing sets. Like there was a time when I would do a lot of base sets. Like I was trying to get like one base set from every year that NBA cards existed from like when I was a kid. So I would get like a 92, 93, 93, 94. I've kind of moved away from that just because I wasn't enjoying it as much. I did put together a Marvel set recently and I used a basic, 1-inch D-ring binder and just the basic pages. So I'll still use them, but I've moved away from collecting that type of stuff because I'm just, like I said, over the years, I've tried to consolidate the amount of space I give to this collection. So
it does take up a lot of space. And I can jump in real quick if we want, because I do have a lot of those regular binders. And so I'll throw a picture up on the screen when we do like the edited version of this, but I've tried to keep it to one side of the closet. And if you see behind me, there's just a regular closet there. It's creeped over into the other side and is kind of taking up that side as well. But yeah, that's a big deal. Space is an issue. So the way I kind of organize mine is I have like the regular binders on the very top shelf. So there's like a shelf built in, which came with the house or whatever. Below that, I have the Z folios. I also do the Ultra Pro binders, which are very similar, and I'll show that off here in a minute. They don't have a zipper, but they're equally as sturdy, I'd say. Below that's my 2 rows, and then below that is just bins of just throw cards in there until I find a spot for them. So that's kind of how I have it laid out. Speaking of really thick regular binders, this is one here. I don't know if we can read it, but this is my 90-player PC. You can see it's 1 because I got 2 of these giant things. And this is just like back when I got in the hobby, back into the hobby in 2010s, early 2010s. I just literally grabbed all the cards that I had, took out players that I like here's Jordan, you got Magic Johnson, Robert Parrish, there's a little section of him. Just like players that, I remembered. And I spent probably 6 months doing that, just like grabbing them out from these bins that I had grabbed from my mom's place, and just putting them into these giant binders that I already had. And that was kind of fun. So a lot of my stuff on like the top shelf is going to be stuff like that. I used to do Nuggets team sets, kind of like you, Steve. Just kind of got burnt out on it. So a lot of those are actually going into like, I'm trying to do just a regular binder now that has maybe like, here's this year, here's the next year. It's all on a single binder instead of separate binders for each season, because it just got to be too much. And I wasn't breaking as much cards, buying boxes of cards, etc. that next row is definitely Z Folios, as we mentioned. So I got some of the ones that you got, Steve, the regular Z Folios. Those are BCW for those that are interested. So this is just like, I don't know if you can see it. This is 90s Nuggets parallels. Really cool thing about those for nobody, people that haven't seen them, is that you can pretty safely store them. Like I literally have, I don't know, stuff that might be considered like a non-binder card, like Star Ruby's cards there, and Flare Legacy. I got PMGs in there. People kind of shake their head when they see that, but to me, I mean, I've literally had a lot of those cards and similar type cards in just regular old binders. So the fact that you can put them in a penny sleeve and put them into the Z Folio, I have no issues about like grabbing that in 10 years and it being in the same exact condition as today.
Another thing I like about the Z Folios, and not to sound like a commercial for them, but any sort of the folio style, is that unlike a binder, they maintain their shape. So even when they're full, they're still going to be flat and level and just take up that like 1 or 1.5 inches, 2 inches. They're not going to, whereas a traditional like D-ring binder is going to, it's either going to be tough to stack on itself because it'll be more of a triangle, or it can start to bulge out a little bit. And
if you store them vertically like that, you can get these curl on the edges.
Yeah. Well, and then the pages start to rip after a while. So the folio style, where they're sort of stitched into the binder itself, are more durable. But you pay for them. You can't just go to Target and grab them. They're you're going to pay shipping, and they're definitely a little more expensive. But I do like the consistency of how well they store.
Yeah, and that was a concern for people back in the day. I remember when Z Folios kind of got popular back, I don't know, was it mid 2010s on blowout forums? People were looking for storage options. A lot of people said don't store them in the regular binders because they sag, they're going to curl up. True, they do, but I've literally never had a card that was damaged from that. I've had like curled pages for sure because they're stored, vertically on the shelf, but never had any problems with cards coming out of them. I've literally same condition they've always been. I did want to quickly show off these Pro binder. This is the Ultra Pro binder. So this is like my Gallinari PC. I'm still kind of working on it, but they don't have a zipper, but they're in there pretty well, like pretty stable pages. You got this little, I don't know, elastic piece.
A little security belt there, yeah.
Yeah. But, same thing. It's the black back, so you're not seeing the back of the card unless you pull it out. That's one thing that I think, if somebody came out with one of these Z Folio style or is clear and you could see the back, I think a lot of people would enjoy that. I haven't seen it yet. And to be honest, I think a lot of these were made for like trading card games. I feel like the Z Folios were originally made for that.
100%.
But anyway, that's like the other style that I have.
And so is that just identical to those Z Folios, but the only difference is the strap rather than the zipper?
Rather than the zipper. I believe so. I mean, they're very rigid pages. They're not moving around. You can kind of see that if you stored them on a shelf, they might be hitting the shelf, but they're not going to bend up like a regular binder page. They're pretty thick. So I don't have any issues. Like I've got like 101s in here that I have no problem putting in there and knowing that down the road they're going to be fine. Cool. So yeah, that's kind of that shelf. And then I do have something kind of cool to show before we get to the 2 rows. Well, nobody needs to see a 2 row. Everybody knows what a 2 row looks like, right?
Yeah.
I was going to pull it up on here, but it's so heavy. But I do have this case. So this is for like the higher end Nuggets cards that I have. And so this guy is on Instagram. This is Mag Case or Mag Cases, one or the other. And I actually got this back before Instagram was like really a thing, and he was selling them on blowout forums. But it's he'll do like your team logo or like a photo or something. He's got graphics that he puts on the sides of these now, and they have a little lid to them. And then he's got ones that are bigger than this, but this is like a little 3 row. So I store like higher end Nuggets cards in here. That's really what it's for. And so it's not super practical for like a storage because it's kind of bulky and big, and you don't really want to put something on top of it, but it's just kind of fun. So anybody interested, that's Mag Cases, I think it is, something like that.
So you store higher end Nuggets cards in there regardless of their size, or is it just the thicker cards because the other ones
It's
are in the
mainly
Z-fold?
the thicker cards I've gravitated towards. It's had all kinds of stuff over the years as I go in and out. Because you guys, let's see, was it last time when we were doing Flawless? I was showing my binders with the 130 point cards in them. Yeah. So
And where's the card that you don't like to let people know you have because they harass you about it? That's a 5-figure card.
oh, it's
Where's
in
that?
there.
That's in a
I
binder,
took it
right?
out of there. Yeah. Well, some of them are, yeah. Some of them are in that case. Some of them are in binders. Yeah, there's literally Jokic cards that I've taken off my page because I'm sick of telling people it's not for sale. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And then 2 rows boxes, I got a ton of those. And bins. So you got to put them where you can put them. But I do like the idea of a binder. That's why I've gone with the thicker cards. Pro Binder, I think it was called. Check out the last episode, the one where we looked at Flawless. I think I stated what it was. But those are nice because, I mean, they take up so much space. You guys know. I mean, you put them in a mag, you put them in a 2 row, you put them in a box, whatever. It just like takes up a ton of space. So I have tried to gradually move towards those. Not for everything. Some stuff's going to stay in, the nicer cases. Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Very cool. In terms of like organization, because for me, I think similar to you guys, it's all about just size. I like anything I can put in a binder, I will.
Size matters, Joey. Size matters.
It does. When you're organizing, size matters. Yeah. So, I mean, I put everything I can into a binder. Even after Ryan, one of those first episodes where you were showing those top loader binders, I picked one up and I started moving as much as I could of the whatever 130 point cards into there because I just like to be able to flip through them. Obviously, there's some stuff that just doesn't fit or it doesn't comfortably fit with it in the side of a top loader or whatever. But I don't know, I'm still working out how much I can put in there versus how much is staying in those. I think I have a 4-row box and I just have a 4-row box that's organized like non-Kings cards and then Kings patches, patch autos, and then just autos that don't fit in binders. But like for me, I pretty much have everything separated as Kings player PCs, Kings team sets, Indians and Guardians, just all in one binder because I don't focus on them too much, and then sets. And then the last one is just like random player PC. So I have one binder for players like Westbrook or Duncan or David Robinson, where I collect random lower end cards of theirs, but I don't have a ton of stuff. But I don't know, like in terms of organization, do you guys have a system like that? Sounds like, I don't know if Steve, you have a bunch of stuff that's mixed together in those Z folios, and Ryan seemed like you were pretty organized with like Gallinari PC number 1 and number 2 and stuff like that.
I kind of want to put Adam on the spot a little bit, only because I've known Adam for many years. We've done a lot of like virtual hangouts, and almost every time a card comes up, Adam can grab it as if he has like a Dewey Decimal System style Rolodex or library system. So, Adam, I mean, I know you say, and Adam and I joke, like I talked about how I'm a stickler for like the same consistency. Adam can grab a mag that is so scuffed up you can barely see the card through it and be happy because he's just storing it and keeping it safe. But what is your system from an organization? Because I'm not organized. I think I have systems, but I kind of just keep my stuff in boxes and find. Is that what's your system for more of the organizational?
Yeah, that means more to me. So like on your end of the spectrum, you care more about the uniformity of how it's all stored. I don't care at all about that. I just care about how quickly I can find the items and also just kind of the cohesiveness of the way it's stored more than I do all of them being in one touches or top loaders or in a binder. So the way I do it generally is like for basketball as an example, I collect predominantly Hall of Fame stuff. So all my Hall of Fame patches and autographs are organized alphabetically by last name. So I can look behind me in some of these 4 rows. I think there's 3 or 4 of them of Hall of Fame basketball guys that didn't play for the Celtics or aren't depicted in the Celtics, I should say. There's some guys that had played for them on like a Parrish Bulls card or something. But I would go back there and you said Parrish, I could find a Parrish out of in the P's, and I could go to Olajuwon, then I could go back to D and find Adrian Dantley or whoever else it may be. And then I do similar things with like my own teams that I like. So like the Celtics, like all of like the pre Bird era guys, I have separated in a separate box. So it goes like Kuzi, Sharman, so and so, so and so, working its way up to like Cowens. And then I have a 4-row of just like Russell and Bird autos because it's like my two favorite guys to pick up. So it's like not as much of the kind of keeping up with the theme of time period, but just the two guys that I like the most. Then I have like a Bird era teammate box of the same 4-row autographs patches like Parrish, Ainge, Kale, things like that. And that same kind of concept goes around with like I have a box that's just the soul of the game cards. I have another box that's just like patches and autos of legends that haven't made the Hall of Fame but might, or fan favorites. Like you might find a Sean Kemp in there, and then you flip through a little more and you might find, I don't know, Horace Grant or something like that. Like just some notable names that aren't in the Hall of Fame and maybe aren't necessarily like a given for the Hall of Fame. Because like Durant, I already have in my Hall of Fame boxes, for example. I just save myself the hassle of having to reorganize them later. But in terms of like binders and things like that, I was never a huge binder guy. I did grab one while you were talking because nobody shared these. It's a little dusty. I haven't touched it in a while. But back in the day, I used to use some of these for some really, like a nice 69 top set, put it together in this forever ago. And I have some other 70s sets in the same binders as these. But a few years ago, with talking about binders with you, Steve, I actually did buy one of those Z Folios. I think it's the same that you use, the extra large 4x4, whatever it is. And I like them. I put some expensive cards in here too. But more than anything for me, it was just like getting some of the 35-point stuff out of my 4 rows just to make more room where I could easily store more stuff in there without having to take up crazy amounts more space or have to add an extra box. That was the big thing, was the way that I have them sorted behind me. I like the way it sits. It's like 3 or 4 boxes and it fits everything pretty well. So when I run out of room there, I normally find a way to store more in a binder or sell off some excess that I don't necessarily need. If I get so many autos of the same person or something, I sell some of the lesser ones and keep the better ones, kind of concept.
And I think that's what you were just talking about, Adam, as far as your system is exactly what I meant when I said like you're so much more organized, because I could pull out a 3-row binder of box of patch cards and I could say most of these are Celtics cards, but just kidding, because I ran out of room. So here's a few pop culture cards and here's some Veronica Burton cards. But most of these are Celtics. Oh, can I see a Pete Maravich card? I'm going to be flipping through all 2 rows or 3 rows to find that card, right? So I know generally where some of that stuff is. And my binders are much more organized because I put them by like play or a set and then by year. But definitely my nicer stuff is, or even the few graded cards I have, they're all in the same box, but I couldn't tell you, like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. They're just stored safely, whereas, like, it is more about, the uniformity and space that it takes up for me. So it's just interesting how, like, we have very similar collecting styles and use some of the same materials, but we just approach it so differently.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, part of the issue, too, is, like, I like to buy duplicates sometimes, but I hate to find that I bought a duplicate that I didn't necessarily want 2 of. And so, like, the best way for me to do that was this process. Or like if I'm about to go bid on a Rick Barry autograph because I want the ultimate archetypal or something autograph, I can easily find Rick Barry and look in the section of his cards and say, oh, I don't have that one. Versus if I have them all kind of thrown about and so this next 5 boxes are all Hall of Fame stuff, I'm never going to know if I have that particular one. So that for me, and I've done that many times. I think there was an occasion, I don't know, maybe during COVID, I bought a card not thinking I had one, and I had like 2 or 3 of them. And it's like, what am I doing? This is a joke. And that's when I really overhauled everything in terms of organization standards. I had kind of a similar concept to you, just where it's in a general idea and kind of mad scientist. I know where it is. Nobody else could find it type of plan. And then probably around COVID, I was like, I need to figure out a better plan than this, and got real organized with the alphabetized system.
You guys want to highlight some comments real quick? I think we got a couple of good ones. Yeah. I was going to show this one from it's a crazy one. He says, my tip for storage, talking from experience, is never leave price tags on penny sleeves when in folders. Over a long period of time, they can leave impressions on the card, which is very true.
What also happens is be careful when you go to a shop or a show and like take the card out, because I've seen cards that have gotten inconsistently faded a little bit where they've had the price tag over the corner of the card, and that it'll leave like a darker spot because they've had it like in the wrong showcase, the wrong lighting.
Yeah, and I think especially like your dollar bins, and they still do it. They Just put the price tag right on the penny sleeve, and the penny sleeve is in the dollar box. And yeah, get it home, take it, and put it in a new penny sleeve. They're not super expensive. I think I've been given penny sleeves, not every show, but a lot of shows they'll give them out, or you can buy them for cheap. So even if you're not ordering them and trying to pay shipping, you're at the show, just grab some penny sleeves.
They're called penny sleeves for a reason.
Let's see, we got a couple other. Sean says slabs, top loaders, card savers, one touches loose, 4-9 page, 2-3 D-ring binders, shoe boxes of all sizes. So he's got a bunch. He's, as he says, I'm all over the place, which is honestly, that's where I am in too. Even though I try my best to get stuff down to like, okay, I want to put this in the Z Folio. I got this player PC, I'm putting it in here. It's still all over the place. That's what the bins are for at the bottom of the closet, is just like all the random stuff that is in like random like shipping boxes from ComC or something. They're still hanging out in there until I can figure out.
On that topic, actually, I always get conflicted because I love the way cards look in one touches, but I also feel like it's hard to look at them because you just have to put them in a box. So I always get conflicted. I'm like always going back and forth mentally over whether I want to transfer as many cards as possible into binders or transfer as many cards as possible into one touches so that they can look better just at when I pull it out to look at it. It's a conundrum for me.
You were saying too, Joey, you have 130 points now in the Z Folios. You went that route. You're one of the crazy ones like me.
Yeah, and the nice part about it is, I don't know if you guys remember that Duncan patch that I got from like 0910 Limited a month or two ago. It's cool because I've just over time accumulated most of the rainbow, not the 101, but most of the rainbow. And it's cool because, I can look at that next to the base 35 point insert. And it's just cool to have them all next to each other. And I put that even in that giant binder, which is probably not the best use of it, but I want to keep my rainbow next to, all together. So
here's a little insight into like how much I can overthink this sometimes. So with my J, I've mentioned many times my J Crowder PC, right? So I literally chase every license card he has, so he was drafted in 2012. So in some of the early year stuff, especially 2013-14 product, some of the jersey cards which weren't prime because Panini was all over the place, they might have used like a 75 point card or even like even just under 100 that fits perfectly in a binder. But then I get the prime version and it's like 130 point. And then it drives me nuts because it's like, okay, this could fit in my binder. Do I split them up or do I have to then pull it? So then I end up like overthinking it about like, it just frustrates me. It's like, okay, I'm wasting a spot in the 3-row box because this could fit in my binder, but then I need to keep the, little mini rainbow together of the 1-on-1, the prime, and the base, relic or something. So I'm all over it, and it does frustrate me. Man, Sean, you love Marquee, yes. Marquee, 2012 Marquee. Everybody let Sean know that we like 2012 Marquee. I think he brings it up every other episode. I do like those cards, Sean.
So, Steve, your solution is to just grab that top loader binder so you can put them all together.
I've got to say, I've gone through so many systems in the 15 years or so that I've been doing this that like I have my system now and it's not changing. It's like I did top loader binders for a while. I had everything in mags for a while. Like I was telling Adam before we got on that I have a bunch of like 35 to 75 point mags literally in row boxes under a bed that I'm going to send him at some point because I used to keep everything in one touches. I've done it all. So, my system that I have right now it works very, very well for me. So, I'm going to keep it. And next time we're on, I'll bring the binder down and we can show Sean those Marquee cards to make everybody happy.
I'll be excited. We got DC Aaron 32 says pretty much just have top loader binders and a couple wall mounted things in my office for my favorites to look at, which is perfect. I wish I probably had one of those wall mounted. I see people have them and I think that would be a great thing to have. I just fear, putting especially autos in there. I don't think I'd probably do it because we've all seen the, awesome Michael Jordan card that somebody had at one point, autographed Michael Jordan card that's now completely faded because they probably kept it out. So I kind of limit what I put stuff on my desk on just the little stands for mags, or top loaders or whatever you have. But those wall mounted do look kind of cool. Do you guys have any of the wall mounted stuff or is it just mainly sitting on the shelf?
Yeah, sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do what Joey does for a few of them and keep them like stored on a bookshelf or something if I want to keep them on display or around. But yeah, I haven't done any of the wall mount because I've got jerseys too. So I've got a couple jerseys. Let's take up the wall space.
Yeah, the wall space, prime real estate that my wife will not sell to me.
Sean says, I would love to have an air display of my cards, but my house has lots of young family members that visit and like to plunder. And he would feel like he would be sad very quickly. Yes, I think we all have that. I have a lock on my door, so when I've got all my stuff out, I'm like, you're not coming in, because my kids are pretty good about it. We actually collect with them as well, and they have just normal binders. I've got some stuff in mags for them. I pulled stuff out, and my son was like, "Oh, do you have any Michael Jordan cards?" Yeah, I got some. Put it in a mag and put it up on the shelf. But so they're pretty good nowadays, but they're a little bit older. When they were younger, it was definitely don't go near that closet, or else I'm not going to be happy. Cool. Anything else we want to highlight from the chat? That's the ones I kind of came across.
No, I was trying to, when I was muted, I was trying to go through. I think you covered sort of the big topic areas that everyone was discussing.
Cool.
I did want to say, Joe, when you brought up binders, I don't have a top loader binder, but I actually do have a slab binder.
Oh.
I don't have many slabs, but there's some cards I'm not going to take out. Like I've got some Tom Brady rookies and stuff. So I'm so binder oriented, and I have so few slabs that I picked up. This is the one that's always being pinned on Instagram. It's, I don't know, Prezi or something. They are pushing it through Instagram like crazy. But I picked this up. It holds 38 cards. There's my Dave Robinson auto right there. So just something where, like I wouldn't bust that out because it's authenticated, right? So like there's some that I wouldn't want to take out of a slab. So I've got a slab binder. And then I just wanted to bring up for a few people, we're talking about storage. Sorry, Ryan, there's going to be a lot of background noise. I do have some oversized cards in my collection. This is probably my favorite one. It's the Sportscaster one. But anybody that might have some older oversized cards, they do make penny sleeves and top loaders for oversized cards. I find it most useful to go to Amazon and filter for like photography stuff. So these are 6x9s. I've got 5x7s. I've got 6x8s. And so they're not expensive. Obviously the penny sleeves are cheap, and I have way more than I can use because I think they sell all the stuff in groups of like sets of 50. But great ways to protect some oversized cards, and then you can just kind of lay these down in on your bookshelf or keep some of them on display. But I just wanted to bring that up because for years I've brought up on one of these episodes that I sold a Joker, auto that I had because it was a box top and I just couldn't figure out how to store it safely. And obviously I got some decent money for it too. But those oversized cards, I'm a fan of box toppers and stuff, so they can be kind of tricky. So there are storage options out there that are outside. You don't have to go and get them graded in a big piece of plastic. Go on Amazon and get some stuff pretty cheap, and it protects them perfectly fine.
That's actually what I was going to mention is sometimes you see those graded and they can be horrendous, and sometimes they grade them decently sized. But I actually had one sitting over here that's a box topper. I haven't cracked it like I do most things simply because I feel like it's harder to store them outside of the slab than it is in. It's just easier just to leave it in there. But it's not too terrible compared to the size, but it is still ridiculously
What
large.
a great card.
All right.
Yeah.
Stadium Club.
You mentioned it was literally sitting directly next to me.
Yeah. No, and it's funny you say that because I actually do have 98.99 Finest Basketball. Their jumbo boxes came with box toppers, and I put together I pulled the Ron Bursa refractor. It's only a 14 card set, so I put together that set years ago, and I had BGS slab them because they're the most oddest size oversized cards. They're not like a full 5x7. They're, I don't know, we'll just say 4x5 or something. But I should have brought one down. BGS did a great job slabbing those because the slab's almost just exactly the size of the card. So they're not oversized. I mean, you see some of them and they have like 3 inches of plastic on either side, or they're super thick. It makes sense that they don't have whatever molds that they would normally use. But yeah, no, that Randy Johnson looks pretty good. It actually looks really good slabbed.
The booklets that they had before they figured out how to do them, and they put them in an 8x10 slab, and it would be just a regular card that was a booklet. And so 80% of is just plastic. Those are always funny back in the day. Yeah. And I was going to mention too that a lot of times I'll go on eBay and the weird size stuff, you can find a little bit easier, and you can find like lots of like, I don't know, some weird size, because I collect a lot of vintage non-sports stuff where it was not traditional size. Like there's the tobacco smaller size, then you get up even at postcard size stuff. So I found that if you go there, you can find, 25 of these random like top loaders and sleeves that you can pick up from somebody. So that's another place to look for them.
And I think my kind of the final thought I had was just to put a little just remind us that when we are collecting stuff, part of it is to store the stuff, and it is worth it to sort of do your research and buy good quality stuff. I mean, I'll never forget growing up when little Steve was hanging out in the neighborhood with some of the older kids playing basketball, and the guy that lived a few houses down the street from me had a second year Michael Jordan, which even back in 1990 was a chase card, and he stored it in some oversized screw down case, and the thing turned black. I don't know what oils were in that screw down, but the entire surface, like front surface of the card, got like, you would have thought like it was like a Rorschach ink blot on it.
Ouch.
So part of collecting is storing our cards, and that does cost money. And it, like I don't even want to know what I've spent in turning over and getting new mags throughout the years or different binders, but that is part of the cost of collecting our cards, and it is worth it to look at reputable companies, and maybe, before you jump all in on a certain organizational system, or there's all these drawers out there, to replace the shoebox style thing, maybe go to a show, check the stuff out, or maybe order one type of, holder before you go and order a case of them or something. It's, there's so many options out there right now.
Also, like one of the parts of the hobby in terms of time spent is organizing and stuff. I mean, I know that when I'm trying not to spend money, that's how I spend my time. I try to avoid going on eBay as much, because I'm like, well, I should not be spending more money because of however much I've spent on cards recently. So I'm going to try to spend time reorganizing my binder pages, or, putting things away in the right place. I mean, I also have a stack of cards that I've had for a while that I need to put away, and it just keeps getting taller and taller. But maybe take pictures of cards, stuff like that. Sean actually mentioned something really cool, and I was going to ask this, if anyone has ever put those oversized cards in picture frames, because I think that those would look really cool. I mean, that Randy Johnson card, or some of your box toppers, Steve, like that Paul Pierce Murad or whatever, would be really cool in picture frames. I mean, those would I think display really nicely.
I'd say like the only thing I wouldn't do is like an auto. I think it's just too easy to fade unless it's never going to see sunlight or really bright light. I'd be nervous about putting any autos. But yeah, like the box stoppers that just have the photo, like they did those back in Court Kings back in the day, those would actually be pretty perfect. Yeah, the oversized Murads that Steve's showing there.
Yeah, and that auto probably pressed against the glass. Yeah, that probably wouldn't work out great.
And this isn't Sean is a very knowledgeable collector. I'm sure like how he has them stored, but just if people are thinking of doing that, just remind, like if like Joey's got one touches cards behind him and one touches that, he's in a modern office at his house, probably has LED lighting, so that's safe, but the one touches also have some UV protection to them. A picture frame that you're going to grab at like, Michael's or Target or wherever that might use glass or acrylic is not going to have any UV protection to it. So just to take an extra, extra layer of caution when you're putting cards out, or like if they are just a base box topper, like that just looks good. Like definitely, I mean, some of those Court Kings box toppers look like little pieces of art, and I mean, they were probably $2 for the base ones, the non-auto. So just be aware of what you're putting out there and how you're doing it. But I bet they do look cool. Good little piece of like memorabilia to have on, next to the TV stand or something.
Yeah, Sean, you should definitely shoot one of us, or like our Instagram account, Hoops Hobby Hangout, a photo of your framed oversized cards. That'd be very cool to see. Anyone else have anything, or have we covered it all? Are we good to go?
I'm good for now.
Can't think of anything.
All right.
I think we covered quite a bit there. I'm sure there's more to talk about, but it can come up organically as we, like the 130 point top loader binders. Those will come up. I'll probably have some weird random thing that I'm doing, in another couple months.
We'll have to dedicate the first part of next week to you showing one of those off.
Yeah, you missed out. Yeah, because you were.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. He He brought it out, and we all laughed at him a little bit.
I saw you bring it out. I was watching, at least after the fact. I don't remember. My kids got in the way. But cool. Well, if you hung around and endured an hour of nerding about binders and boxes and slabs and top loaders and mags and whatever, congratulations. I'm very impressed. Hope everyone has a great week. Feel free to share with us any storage setups or organization things you have. And we'll see you all next week. Have a great week. We'll see you guys then.
Be well, everybody.
Yes.